So right now, the connection firefighter is going to hook up to the standpipe outlet. In this case, we've got a gauge, an elbow, and if we want to, we can use a short section of 2.5 to help alleviate going to the ground, and doesn't take up any of our working hose lengths from our 50-foot, 2.5-inch sections. So he's going to work on that. We're going to chalk this door open because the standpipe that we're working in is not our typical one where it resides in the stairwell. It's actually in a kind of go-between hallway. So we've got to keep this door open. We do have a door still behind us protecting us from the actual fire hallway. Okay, so we've unstrapped the first 50-foot section here. We have a second 50-foot section here that we're going to unstrap as well. And in this case, we're just going to deploy 150 feet. We know from this building, from sizing it up and checking our layouts on the way up, we check every floor. We know that from this point, this middle stairwell, that with 150 feet, hooking up the floor below the fire, that we can reach any way to the end of the building, and then in any office that might require extra distance. So we're going to connect the first two sections. The nozzle firefighter carrying the nozzle section, which you'll see happens to be a different color hose. We do that for a specific reason. He's already gone up to the floor above the fire floor. So he's at the fire floor where we're going to attack, and he's waiting up at that floor for us to bring him hose. So I've unstrapped this second section. I'm going to keep it together though like this, and then I'm going to grab two of the middle folds here. We're going to deploy this out.
Connection firefighter on the floor below the fire. So I'm going to set up our standpipe operation here. First thing here, got a nice elbow going into a pressure reader here for us. For our standpipe operations, for 150 feet of hose, we operate at about 85 psi. So first thing we're going to do here, remove the cap, make sure there's no debris in there, and we're going to flush it. We're going to flush it for 10 to 15 seconds, making sure that we have clear water and we're getting good pressure just from the engine from below. Here at this building, our threads don't match up with what we have, so we have these sitting in our cabinet for us. We gotta put that on there. So we make all our connections, and then we wait for our call for water.
And then again, I grab two middle folds, approximately, okay? And then we're going to deploy this up to the next floor. Return stairs like we have here, we're trying to eat up hose without having so many turns going up. So we're going to lay our attack on top of our supply. So our nozzle section, which is color-coded white, will sit on top of our supply. So the attack over supply helps us reduce friction when we're actually moving the hose. And then also, I know what hose I'm working with. So when nozzle firefighter enters the hallway, I know which hose I gotta move first, okay? So I can move the white section first, and then immediately following that will be the red section. So again, we get this hose as much as we can around the edge of the stairwell. Same thing. Water's coming! So the slower you charge, the less likely it's going to actually come back down the stairs, and then it's going to turn into a kink mess for you. So now that he's ready to flow, the nozzle firefighter will open up. He'll communicate via mouth, not over the radio. The radio's too busy. He's going to communicate through the stairwell, yelling, "Ready to flow water! and the connection firefighter will know that he's about to set pressure, okay? So when he opens up, after he's got a charged line, with a fully open 2.5 in a stairwell like this, you won't be able to hear anything. So what we teach our connection firefighter is that once he's got the pressure set, he yells at the top of his lungs. We can hear a yell. We can't decipher words, but we can hear a yell. So he's only listening for that yell, and then he'll shut it off. If there happens to be an issue, then they can open it back up and they can communicate. Once the hose is off, they can communicate and they can open the hose back up and reset the pressure. But something like this, where we're hooking up the floor below, and we have 150 feet of 2.5 with a smooth bore nozzle, we're looking for 75 to 80 psi at the tip to operate efficiently. We found that when we charge this in any given stairwell, once this charges, we're going to have a minimal amount of kinks. It just happens. We just cannot eliminate all kinks, just with, at least with the hose we're dealing with. When you set pressure with those kinks in place, it actually bumps your pressure up at the connection. So if we set it at 75 and then we go out onto the fire floor and these kinks deploy out and we've got a hose line that's free of kinks, we'll actually experience a drop of pressure, 5 to 10 psi. So we compensate for that. So when we charge it up in this stairwell with this high-rise lay, we'll actually go for 150 feet, we'll go for 90 to 95 psi at the standpipe connection. That way when it deploys out, we're at our 75 to 80. If we add an extra 50 feet of hose on this to bring us to 200 feet, then we're actually looking to set the connection pressure at around 100. And then we found when we deploy that out fully without kinks, that pressure at the nozzle tip would be that 75 to 80 that we need.